All right, welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. It's tonight just Alex, Chris, and Keith. We're going to hop into the biggest surprises in fantasy football this season, position by position, and then we'll probably break down and laugh a little bit about our teams as well. But make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. It means a lot to us, totally free to you. We are growing the channel, shooting for 200 right now. If you're already a subscriber, I want to say I appreciate you coming back for another video. We really do appreciate all that you do for us. Make sure you hit that like button because it does make our videos more popular, get more eyes on it. And as always, feel free to hit us in the comments. You know we'll reply. So, all right, I guess we'll start with the quarterback position. Biggest surprise this fantasy season for you at the quarterback position?
Geno Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Geno.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, to see Jalen Hurts what he's done this year too is kind of a surprise.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, we all know he had talent, but I don't think any of us thought that he would put up the numbers that he's put up this year.
I think the big thing on that is
AJ Brown.
People had already kind of forgotten that Geno was a quarterback in the NFL.
That's
Jalen
true,
Hurts is still fresh out of college enough that you're like, okay, when's he going to get it? When's he going to get it?
No,
and he got it. Geno, though, everybody already, like the ESPN did that whole big thing, like everybody
He's been there for 10 years.
already wrote Geno off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had really written Geno off. I thought he was just going to, this is the moment that Charlie Whitehurst was waiting for 13 years.
Oh, clipboard Jesus.
Yeah, clipboard Jesus. So,
just waiting for his one opportunity to shine.
I mean, I think some young guys that actually have performed that I really wasn't interested in touching fantasy-wise, like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is the one I was going to say, too.
You know, both those guys have performed really well.
But how much of Justin Fields has been his legs versus his arm? Because most of it's been his legs.
1,000 yards and like 5. I'd say at least 5, probably 7 touchdowns. I got it right in front of me. I don't know why I'm looking. He's got 8 touchdowns. Yeah.
I mean,
so 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground. So, granted, if you're the fantasy owner of Justin Fields, I don't think you really care, right? Most fantasy leagues,
those of you who picked him up like week 4,
yeah, most leagues give you more points for rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns.
I think it's 6 versus 4.
Yeah. So, you get an opportunity like that. I'm with y'all though. I own Geno. I got Geno like week 3, and I think I dropped Derek. No, I didn't drop Derek Carr. I dropped Kirk Cousins for him.
I wouldn't week 3 though, because you traded me Kirk Cousins for like 5 weeks.
Okay. Well, I rode with Kirk Cousins a little bit when Dak went down, and then finally said, "Screw it, I got to get Geno Smith the way he's playing." So, I think Geno is certainly probably the more surprise of the quarterbacks, and.
Come on, what you just said. Kirk Cousins actually had a pretty surprising year.
Shouldn't be surprising to anybody. The dude has thrown for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in 3 straight seasons. This will be his 4th straight season he's done that. I mean, everybody sleeps on Kirk Cousins. Granted, he makes really stupid mistakes and doesn't know how to win games late. But
there's
yeah,
I wanted to say it was like way too early NFL video or something like that. Where me and Chris kind of on this tangent of like we were talking about how like. You watch Kirk Cousins football, and you're like, man, this dude sucks. And then the stats show up, and you're like, damn, that's not the same dude I watched play.
Exactly.
Carson Wentz, it's one of those, like, yeah, him and Carson Wentz are those two people where, like, you watch the football game, and you're like, no. And then you see the stats, and you're like, damn. Okay, obviously I was not watching the same dude.
I would watch what he was watching.
Yeah, like, he sneakily gets into these, these top-tier stat levels, and you're just like, it's just mind-boggling.
Derek Carr did the same thing for the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's been the exact same way.
Yeah.
He's been a consistent 4,000-yard passer with 30 touchdowns. He's not gonna do it this year, but I mean, he's been.
But then,
the
like, look at the whole
way.
team. It just like the Raiders games weren't exciting.
Right.
They weren't, doing crazy things.
They're 6 and 8.
But then he's somehow, like you said, throwing for
4,500 yards and
like,
40 touchdowns. Like,
you're like, what? Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's like Justin Herbert throwing for 300 yards in my fantasy league this year and only getting 2 points. This past week for me, not this year.
If you play in a league where you get negative points for sacks, you need to leave that league.
Yeah, don't join that league.
Don't go back. Tell your
rough.
commissioner he's wrong. So
313 yards, 2 interceptions.
Sounds
He
like
got
some
2
shit
points.
Devin would do.
it does sound like some shit Devin would do. It sounds like some shit you would do. We used to score 400 points a week.
No, I gave you bonuses. I didn't take shit away from you.
To the moon.
That's right, baby. We're scoring 1,200 points this week, baby.
Yeah. There used to be games back then like 700 versus 600 would be like the final score.
We're scoring 5.
I used to tell people that I would score like 240 points in your league and lose, and they'd be like, "How?" And I'd be like, "The guy I was playing scored 412." So, oh god, that that was a fun league. I won't lie. So, all right, flipping it over to the running back side. I mean, obviously Eckler's leading it. I guess Josh Jacobs.
Josh
maybe
Jacobs
surprise?
is a pretty surprise. Yeah, I mean, considering, he's always been consistent, but again,
Contract year.
I was getting ready to say that Alex and I talked about it earlier in the year. It's a contract year. Everybody does so much better in contract years. We talked about it earlier in our video on baseball. Last year was a contract year for somebody. They excelled. Same thing here with Josh Jacobs. It's his contract year, and he's like second in the league in running backs.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley.
Barkley was a big
You know,
I would say that.
It should. I guess it shouldn't come as a large surprise when he's played in so many games this year, but the guy's just struggled with so many injuries. Like I remember watching the Pittsburgh game. I guess it was last year with you. Dude blew his knee just jumping on the side.
And me and Chris made a comment watching that game where like this dude's got to stop jumping in the air that high.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? Goes and blows his knee out doing that. Like
yeah.
It's kind of surprising because like a running back that just strongly come back from a knee injury it's kind of unseen. You know.
I mean, he's such a good running back. Like if you can get Penn State Saquon Barkley in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Like you just know
rookie year Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, you just know that this dude and whoever. I mean, there's probably somebody out there that got Saquon Barkley as their running back too, with a healthy Derrick Henry. And I mean, just oh my God, what a team! What a team they put together with those two this year. So
my biggest surprise this year for running backs is someone that I actually. Going into drafts this year was someone that all of the experts say don't touch with a 30-foot pole. Was Miles Sanders.
That was my RB2. I had that man circled, exclamation point. That was the RB2 I wanted.
There was so much against him this year.
Yeah.
There was so much. So many experts said, "Don't touch this man with a 30-foot pole."
Yeah.
And he's quietly gone over 1,000 yards. And
1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns.
11 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean the guy's doing great.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, just come on strong in New England. He's basically stolen or not stolen. He's taken that job from Damian Harris.
Yeah, 60 catches.
Yeah,
60 catches out the backfield.
So yeah, so
he's talking about Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he has Le'Veon Bell numbers for the Patriots.
He's turned into James White, but can actually run the ball.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
he's turned into James White, but can run.
One that I don't know that it probably comes as a surprise for people, but it surprised me a little bit. Tony Pollard really
being RB1 in Dallas.
He really is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Zeke has scored in like 6 straight games now, and he's the goal line bell cow, but. I mean, really, Tony Pollard is the first 2 to 3 downs of every drive for them.
Well, he's faster. He can hit the hole faster. He can cut through the hole better than Zeke can.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame him. I'd play Pollard more too.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's any other big surprises.
I mean, Jamal Williams scoring 14 touchdowns is
yeah,
probably a little
leading
surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, if
that probably hasn't happened since Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I know. So. I guess, I guess we should say Kenneth Walker. If you look at him, I mean, obviously
coming in as a rookie.
Yeah, obviously it took Rashad Penny getting hurt for them, but I think those that followed Kenneth Walker in college and loved him a lot, won
him a championship.
Took great
snubbed on the Heisman.
Yeah, took great advantage of that this fantasy season. So really paid off for him drafting him. So flipping to the wide receivers.
Honestly, a surprise for me would be A.J. Brown doing what he's doing in Philly. I mean, I know it's like it's a new scene, but those years in Tennessee, he was hurt a lot. I mean, because you had him like three out of his 4 years in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he was always hurt. I mean, it could have been Ryan Tannehill 3 years ago versus Jalen Hurts 3 years ago. You're looking at a downgrade in quarterback, and it's really been an upgrade for him. Yeah. I mean, he's honestly gone out there and just absolutely destroyed people. Jalen Waddle's had a great year.
Yeah, I honestly, Tyreek Hill has probably.
I was going to say Tyreek Hill.
And don't get me wrong, Tyreek Hill is amazing. I drafted him. I had faith. I wanted to risk Tyreek Hill being a bust before I thought Tyreek Hill was going to put up what he did.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be a very good receiver. Not saying that I thought he was a 1,500 yard receiver.
But it's the fact that he left the all-star offense of Kansas City to Miami and somehow just didn't miss a beat.
Yeah,
did not miss a beat. Then that damn fumble return.
Fumble
recovery was crazy. Where just ball happened to bounce to the fastest dude in the
NFL.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean,
with nobody in front of him.
Yeah.
Gone.
Anybody surprised that Christian Kirk is a top 10 fantasy receiver? You know, I mean,
Oh, you mean Mr. $76 million?
Yeah,
who didn't catch a single pass last
I know
year?
it's funny, but we talk about contracts. We talk about people that get their money and then don't perform. Christian Kirk has actually performed
This
I mean,
year, not last year.
No,
this
God,
year.
no. But, I mean, the guy's he's gonna end up with 1,000 yards and probably 90 catches, and so surprising a little bit. Amari Cooper, I was a little surprised by. I knew he's a good receiver. I know
He's a
Cleveland
good
was high
possession
on
guy,
him, but
yeah.
I was a little surprised Amari Cooper performed as well as he did.
Zay Jones.
Yeah, Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. I mean, he's caught what? How many touchdowns has he got?
Shit,
now?
Zay
5?
Jones. Zay Jones is a top 20 fantasy receiver. I didn't even realize that. He's got 74 catches.
You know, of all the rookies that have come out this year too, I think Chris Olave has been a really big surprise for New Orleans.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Above him is actually Garrett Wilson. Like, that's a little bit surprising to me to see that Garrett Wilson's a top 15 fantasy receiver.
Oh, he's got 900 yards.
Yeah,
That's surprising too.
I didn't even realize that.
I think
Well, so does Olave. Olave's got 940.
I'm gonna say a rookie receiver that I feel like kind of was handicapped a little bit, but still showed that he is the real deal. Is George Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Pickens is looking really good. He's made some acrobatic catches. I mean,
I think he's made the catch of the year with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's made some very good acrobatic catches. Deontay Johnson's kind of been a bust, but on Sunday against Carolina, I mean, he got 10
catches.
10 catches.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're finally starting to target him more, which that's what they need to do at this point is target Deontay because he's so small and quick. He can get in and out of those cuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I just think the rookie class of receivers this year did really well.
Yeah. It just
even Drake London's done well.
Yes.
Drake London's actually
He has
performed very well.
Yeah, he's had some moments. It amazes me how Pittsburgh just
Always finds him in the second round.
constantly rotates receivers over there. It's like every 2 years they got to flush out one receiver because they're bringing in another one that's good. They're comfortable with it.
Or they get rid of some some crackhead and bring in another one, and they get rid of him.
I mean, seriously, they've rotated from Santonio Holmes, Antonio Brown, Chase
Montavious
Claypool,
Bryant.
Juju Smith-Schuster, Montavious Bryant, like
Oh, you had Mike Wallace before
Mike
that.
Wallace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you said Antonio Holmes, right?
yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders, like they just rotate receivers out, and now you're looking at again. You got Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Granted, Deontay Johnson will probably play there next year and be gone the year after, and George Pickens will be number one. So, it's just amazing how well Pittsburgh just drafts receivers and rotates people in and out.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
tight end, obviously a harder position. Not a whole lot of high performers, but
Evan Ingram, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Evan Ingram.
yeah.
I mean, he's really transformed his career after leaving New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's because he went to Trevor Lawrence, who's just more, more confident in the pocket than he had with a late age Eli Manning and a young Daniel Jones.
Oh, Daniel Jones is so bad.
So I mean, he's top 4.
Yep.
So I mean, he's performed very well. David Njoku has performed very well this year.
I have actually been in love the last couple of weeks with Juwan Johnson from
Juwan Johnson's
New Orleans.
done really good. Yeah, he's
You
really
can
well.
definitely tell how comfortable Andy Dalton is with him in the red zone. 7 touchdowns, all in the last 7 weeks. So just really, really high performing right now. A guy that if he had a full season, I mean, could catch 12, 14 touchdowns. So you could really see where he is. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy did a great job of holding on to him when the trade deadline came around. But T.J. Hawkinson. I know he's number 2, and these are the numbers we kind of expect out of T.J. Hawkinson had he been playing in Detroit and obviously in Minnesota. He's really finding his groove in Minnesota, not in the red zone, but just overall
Just in
across
general,
the field. And so if he stays in Minnesota, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a guy that I got circled in the top.
Well, I mean, it's definitely an upgraded quarterback. I mean, you go from Jared Goff to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's
So I mean, and you've also got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen around you.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got a lot of people coming off of you because they're more concerned about the two receivers.
Yeah.
So you're getting your better matchups against your linebackers. So
No.
Pat Freiermuth had a quietly good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, really just quiet about it. But
He's had a really
you don't
good
pay
quiet year.
attention, but the stats just keep building.
Right.
Pat Freiermuth would be so much better a fantasy option if he was catching, let's say, 8 or 9 touchdowns instead of 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's putting up the 50 and the 600. He's putting up the numbers as far as the receptions and yards go.
Yeah.
If we could just get him,
In the red zone.
catching touchdowns,
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be a top receiver or a top tight end. So,
About flex position.
Yeah, we'll do flex. I don't know.
It's going to be the same people.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of the elite people, but I would say,
Go to the next page, see what's in there.
For me, I would say, I think
Damon Pierce has done very well this year.
Oh, he has.
Chris Godwin's actually had a good bounce back year.
Yeah. I think, some of the
Brandon
people,
Ayuk.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is a great one. I would say Debo's been a little bit of a disappointment probably, but,
Jerick McKinnon.
Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins had a great year.
He's had 140 fantasy points in our standard league. Jerry Jeudy, Devin Singletary.
Yeah, he's actually put it together in the last. He started to put it together at the end of last year,
Yeah.
and then this year he's become more of their every down back.
Yeah.
And he's proven himself to go out there and be a solid runner.
Yeah, Curtis Samuels has actually had a really good season for Washington. Joshua Palmer, Tyler Boyd, some of those guys. I've actually been, I don't want to say surprised, but I've been a little disappointed in DeAndre Swift. But,
Yeah, considering going into the year he was like a top 10 running back.
Yeah, but he's had some moments where he's looked really good. First 2 weeks he blew up. Then these last 4 weeks he's had double digits, so including a 21-point game. Hollywood Brown. I don't know how y'all feel about Hollywood Brown, but when
At the beginning of the season,
yeah,
awesome. Because
when
I
healthy,
actually
he
had
was-
him. Yeah.
Yeah, when healthy, he was fantastic. These last 3 weeks coming back off of IR, obviously he hadn't been.
Well, a
very
lot of that too is DeAndre Hopkins coming back too. D Hop coming back really took away
Yeah.
a lot of his production.
good. Who?
D Hop.
I know. I know. So, Brees Hall. We forget about
Brees Hall
because
was
he's on
very
the
good,
IR, but
yeah.
You're talking about a guy that played 6 weeks,
In double digits every week.
double digits every week for the Jets. So a guy that if he can come back healthy next year would be pretty impressive. Tyler Algier from BYU. I've been big on that kid for most of it, but put up a 22-point week last week because he finally got all the touches for Atlanta. But we'll go kicker. I don't know. I guess for me, Tyler Bass, who he owns and
Yeah, I
was
love
big
Tyler
on.
Bass. I love Tyler Bass.
Just because of Dutch Fork and the local kid, but I think Tyler Bass surprised me a little bit this year to be the number 2 fantasy kicker. Obviously, Nick Folk in New England surprised me as well. Justin Tucker's been down. Brett Maher, whatever you call his name.
Mayer, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Greg the Leg has been impressive for the Jets.
Jason Myers up in Seattle.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anybody that's blown me away. I think Evan McPherson's actually been a disappointment now that I look at it.
Yeah, he really has been this year.
Yeah.
He's barely top 10 kicker, if he's even top 10.
I don't think he's top 10. That's Chase McLaughlin.
Yeah,
So, no, yeah, he's down here.
yeah.
Yeah, he's. So, yeah, I mean, kickers. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to predict with kickers because it really depends on the team and the game situation and everything.
The funny thing is, the guy that I said I drafted to be the best fantasy kicker and I let go right about here is now all of a sudden booming back again, dropping double digits every freaking week in Daniel Carlson. So, just how the season went.
Just how it goes, man.
So, defenses, we talked a little bit about them on the bus. I mean, I don't know that I'm surprised that New England's is the top defense.
They're always up there.
I'm surprised that Dallas stayed number 2. Like, Dallas was a top 3 fantasy defense last year, but it was because of so many freaking turnovers.
Well,
They led the
because-
league in turnovers last year.
because Diggs intercepted 12 passes.
Yeah, it was freaking crazy.
And I mean, this year he maybe has 3? I don't even know if he has that many.
Yeah, I mean, they only have 12 interceptions in general this
Yeah,
year.
and he had 12 last year by himself.
Yeah. But
Yeah, Dallas is a kind of a surprise there to still be the second defense. San Francisco's always a dominant defense. They've really kept it going. Baltimore's back in the top 5.
I'm surprised by Philly. You a little surprised by Philly, maybe?
Well, with the way they've been playing this year, yeah, I would agree. I mean, to be 13-1, I mean, obviously your defense has got to be doing something. But yeah, I mean, Philly being their defense being that strong, but they did go out and add Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, and their front 7 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Fletcher Cox up there, Robert Quinn. They
Jason
added,
Barnett.
yeah, and then they went out and got James Bradbury, who's been doing really well for them. Darius Slay. So I mean, they've
25 turnovers for them, 15 picks, 10 fumble recovery. That's a lot of turnovers.
a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, 26 for Dallas. Actually, I didn't even realize that, but they do have 26 for Dallas as well. So, again, Dallas stays in that top, turnover. 55 sacks for Philly. Wow.
They're getting after it, man.
That'll keep you up there. So, I know the one that's surprising.
The Jets.
Yeah, the freaking Jets.
Sauce Gardner, baby.
Wow, 12 picks for them. Only 263 points allowed.
Sauce Gardner made a huge difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Sauce Gardner and Oh, never mind. Their other player was the offensive lineman. Remember, we were watching the draft that night, Alex. We were talking about how well they killed the draft in the first.
Well, they
Yeah.
also got the kid out of Florida State, the defensive end that everybody was sleeping on.
Oh yeah, they did get him. They traded up to get him.
Yeah, what was that guy's name?
I can't remember, but it's because like it's the way they maneuvered between linemen and defensive player, like how they maneuvered through the first like round, the second round. It was just amazing.
Yeah, because they got Sauce Gardner, they got the offensive lineman. They traded up to get Garrett Wilson, and then they traded up again to get that defensive end that you're talking about out of Florida State.
Yeah, they got Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson the second. Yeah, all in the first round, and then Breece Hall in the second round. Yeah, but I mean Jermaine Johnson is actually I don't want his draft profile, I want his freaking player profile, but I know he's played really well. Obviously, I've always been a big fan of Quentin Williams, aka the Bandit, the baby Bandit. Dude had braces in the NFL.
Another team that I've been kind of surprised with their defense has been the Giants. The Giants have sneakily had a very good defense this year with getting Kayvon Thibodeau.
They really have.
Yeah. That's the only reason I think the Giants are anywhere close to relevant still in this stage.
because their defense.
is
Their
because of
defense.
defense.
Yeah, I mean,
so
Kayvon Thibodeau
Eli
has been-
Manning knows all about defense carrying you. Okay.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
Both
got-
championships.
He's got
baby.
2 rings because of it.
you're right.
There
So
he is.
the baby Bandit,
No.
Quentin Williams. Who are you talking about?
I think Jermaine Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got Carl Lawson. I forgot from Auburn too. He's been 6. He's got 6 sacks. Quentin
yeah.
Williams, the baby Bandit's got 11 right now. That's crazy. So
Yeah, dude, their defense has been good.
yeah.
Their defense has been good.
So all right, let's go overall most surprising. Could be a play. It could be defense, kicker, player, whatever you want.
Overall, I'm going to have to give it to Gino.
I'm still have to give it to
Yeah,
Gino
Overall,
too.
surprising. Yeah.
I mean, to come out and
Good on him.
to be a backup for the last 10 years, and then to come out and prove that you're putting
A top 5 fantasy quarterback.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And you're doing this with the team that Russell didn't want to be on.
Yeah.
So Russell leaves and he goes to a team that could have better talent. Let's say on the offensive side of the ball
yeah.
because they have more than just 2 receivers.
Yeah.
And he's going out there and just putting up these ungodly numbers with the same
Yeah.
talent that Russell Wilson had.
From being written off from so much to being
to go out
top 5.
and just destroying the league.
Yeah. I'm with y'all. I'm with both.
And he's been consistent too. Like he's not turning the ball over a lot. He's playing good football.
He's throwing for 275 and 2 touchdowns a game.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
he's being very consistent.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
impressive. So I'm with you there. So hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think's been the most surprising fantasy football player of the season. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.